Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Ajay Solkhe, presently working as Assistant Professor, University School of Management, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra, Haryana. In this module, we will be discussing the very introduction of the labour legislation, how the concept of labour laws has been evolved in India, the nature of the labour legislations, what are the objectives behind labour legislation, the need and importance of labour laws in India, and the various classifications and types of labour laws. Upon completion of the lesson, the student should be able to understand the meaning, nature, and importance of labour legislation in India, the scope of labour legislation, and the various classifications of labour laws in India. Now, what exactly is labour legislation? Labour legislation or the labour law, also known as the employment law, is the body of laws, administrative rulings, and precedents which addresses the legal rights of and restrictions on working people and their organizations. The term labour legislation is used to cover all the laws which have been enacted to deal with employment and non-employment, wages, working conditions, industrial relations, social security, and welfare of persons employed in industries. Labour law covers industrial relations, certification of unions, labour management relations, collective bargaining and unfair labour practices, workplace health and safety, employment standards including general holidays, annual leave, working hours, unfair dismissals, minimum wage, layoff procedures, and severance pay. Categories of labour laws. There are two broad categories of labour laws. First, collective labour law, which relates to the tripartite relationship between employee, employer, and the union. Second category is individual labour law, which concerned with employees' right at work and through the contract for work. History and evolution of labour laws. Here we will be discussing history of labour laws across the world and evolution of labour laws in India. Firstly, history of labour laws across the world. Labour law arose due to the demands of workers for better conditions, the right to organize, and the simultaneous demands of employers to restrict the powers of workers in many organizations and to keep labour costs low. International Labour Organization was one of the premier organizations to deal with labour issues. Post-war reconstruction and the protection of labour unions occupied the attention of many nations during and immediately after World War I. In Great Britain, the Whitley Commission, a subcommittee of the Reconstruction Commission, recommended in its July 1918 final report that industrial councils be established throughout the world. The British Labour Party had issued its own reconstruction program in the document's title Labour and the New Social Order. In February 1918, the Third Inter-Allied Labour and Socialist Conference, representing delegates from Great Britain, France, Belgium, and Italy, issued its report advocating an international labour rights body, an end to secret diplomacy, and other goals. And in December 1918, the American Federation of Labour issued its own distinctively a political report which called for the achievement of numerous incremental improvements via the collective bargaining process. The British proposed establishing an international parliament to enact labour laws which each member of the League would be required to implement. Each nation would have two delegates to the parliament, one each from labour side and others from management side. Third, an international labour office would collect statistics on labour issues and enforce the new international laws. The Americans made 10 proposals. 3 were adopted without change. Very first is that labour should not be treated as a commodity, that all workers had the right to a wage sufficient to live on. A proposal protecting the freedom of speech, press, assembly, and association was amended to include only freedom of association. A proposed ban on the international shipment of goods made by children under the age of 16 was amended to ban goods made by children under the age of 14. A proposal to require an 8-hour work day was amended to require the 8-hour work day or the 40-hour work week. An exception was made for countries where productivity was low. 4 other American proposals were rejected. Meanwhile, international delegates proposed 3 additional clauses which were adopted. One was one or more days for weekly rest. Second was equality of laws for foreign worker. And the last one was regular and frequent inspection of factory conditions. The first annual conference, referred to as the International Labour Conference, began on 29th October 1919 in Washington DC and adopted the first 6 international labour conventions which dealt with hours of work, unemployment, maternity protection, night work for women, minimum age, and night work for young persons in industry. The prominent French socialist Albert Thomas became its first Director General. The ILO became a member of the United Nations system after the demise of the League in 1946. Evolution of labour laws in India. The history of labour legislation in India is interwoven with the history of British colonialism. The industrial labour legislations enacted by the British were primarily intended to protect the interest of the British employers. Considerations of British political economy were naturally paramount in shaping some of these early laws. Thus, two acts which primarily came into existence, one is the Factories Act. To regulate the relationship between employer and his workmen was the Trade Disputes Act 1929. The original colonial legislation underwent substantial modifications in the post-colonial era because independent India called for a clear partnership between labour and capital. Ultimately, the Industrial Dispute Act brought into force on 1/4/1947. Repealing the Trade Disputes Act 1929 has since remained on statute book. Regarding the nature of labour legislations, the labour legislations are the products of industrial revolution and they have come into being to take care of the aberrations created by it. They are different from common legislations because they come to alleviate special disorders created by specific circumstances. Therefore, they are specific and not general in orientation, their philosophy, concept, and even in practice also. Labour legislation regards individual as workers, whereas the general legislation regards him as citizen. The principles governing labour legislations, they are more influenced by the postulates of social justice rather than the general justice. Workers are the weaker class of industrial society and have suffered long at the hands of employers. Therefore, these sets of legislation go out of the way in protecting workers and securing justice to them. Labour legislation seeks to deal with problems arising out of occupational status of the individual. Consequently, such problems as hours of work, wages, working conditions, trade unions, industrial disputes, etc., came to be the main subject matter of labour legislation in India. Individuals have different roles to perform and different laws are designed for regulating the different roles. It is the role relation that determines whether a particular legislation falls under the category of labour legislation, social legislation, or a general legislation. All these kinds of legislation, they try to meet the specific objectives of their respective target group, that is, to provide subsistence, to aim at abundance, to encourage equality, and to maintain security. As labour legislations are to regulate the conditions of labour in the industrial milieu, it is required to be adjusted as per the changing requirements of industry. This has to be done more frequently than the general legislation, where changes are not that swift. Unless labour legislations are subjected to frequent revision and not left to continue as they are, they become obsolete and irrelevant. Looking at some of the objectives of the labour legislations, the very first objective is establishment of justice, social, political, and economic justice. Second is provision of opportunities to all workers, irrespective of their caste, color, creed, religion, belief, for the development of their personality. Third is protection of weaker sections in the community. Fourth is maintenance of industrial peace, creation of conditions for economic growth, protection and improvement of labour standards, protect workers from exploitation, and lastly, guarantee right of workmen to combine and form associations or unions. ensure right of workmen to bargain collectively for the betterment of their service conditions, make state interfere as protector of social well-being than to remain an onlooker, and lastly, ensure human rights and human dignity. Looking at why the labor legislation in India is important and why there is a need of it. It is necessary for the health, safety and welfare of workers. It is necessary to protect workers against oppressive terms as individual worker is economically weak and has very little bargaining power. It encourages and facilitates the workers in the organization. It provides a mechanism to settle industrial disputes of various nature. It helps in enforcing social insurance and labor welfare schemes. It is quite instrumental in improving industrial relation, that is employer-employee relationship, and minimize industrial disputes. It helps workers in getting fair wages. It also helps in minimizing the labor unrest. It ensures job security for workers. It promotes welcome environment conditions in the industrial system. It helps in fixing rest pauses and work hours. It helps in providing appropriate compensation to workers who are victims of accidents. Moving on to the classification or the types of labor legislation in India, here we have 6 classifications. One is regulative laws, second is protective laws, third is wage related laws, fourth is social security laws, fifth is welfare related laws, and the rest of the category has been merged into labeled as miscellaneous category. Looking at the regulative legislations in India, the very first is the Trade Unions Act 1926. Then is Industrial Dispute Act 1947. Then is Industrial Relations legislation enacted by the states of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, UP and some of the other states also. Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act 1946. Looking at the protective labor laws in India, prominent among them is Factories Act 1948, then is the Mines Act 1952, the Plantation Labor Act 1951, the Motor Transport Workers Act 1961, the Shops and Establishments Act, the BD and Cigar Workers Act 1996. Looking at some of the wage related labor laws in India, the very first is the Payment of Wages Act 1936, the Minimum Wages Act 1948, the Payment of Bonus Act 1965, the Equal Remuneration Act 1976. The laws which ensures the social security are like the very first is the Workmen Compensation Act 1923, then is the Employee State Insurance Act 1948, then is the Coal Mines Provident Fund Act 1948, the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952, the Maternity Benefit Act 1961 and the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. The laws which ensures the welfare of an employee in the workplace, prominent among them are the Limestone and Dolomite Mines Labor Welfare Fund Act 1972, the Mica Mines Welfare Fund Act 1946, the Iron Ore Mines, Manganese Ore Mines and Chrome Ore Mines Labor Welfare Fund Act 1976, the Cine Workers Welfare Fund Act 1981. In addition to these acts, some state governments have also enacted legislations for welfare funds. Likewise, BD Workers Welfare Funds Act 1976. In the miscellaneous categories of labor laws, we have the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970, Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, Building and Other Construction Workers Regulation of Employment and Conditions of Service Act 1996, Apprentices Act 1961, Immigration Act 1983. In the last category of labor legislations, there are certain laws dealing with the Contract Labor and Building and Other Construction Workers Act. The very first is the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970. Then is Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, Building and Other Construction Workers Regulation of Employment and Conditions of Services Act 1996, Apprentices Act 1961, Immigration Act 1983, Employment Exchange Compulsory Notification of Vacancies Act 1959, Interstate Migrant Workmen Regulation of Employment and Condition of Services Act 1979, Sales Promotion Employees Condition of Service Act 1976, Working Journalists and Other Newspapers Employees, Condition of Service and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1955. Friends, I hope you have understood the contents well. You can also refer to other quadrants of this module for testing your knowledge and having some more input on theme of the module. Happy learning.